Court set Dad's child support at $500 a month over a year ago, and that was based on the court's finding that Dad should have 80 days of parenting time per year. Move forward another year. Well, Mom goes back to court and asks for an increase in child support. The basis of that increase, Dad didn't exercise those 80 days. He only exercised 20 days. Well, the court increased his child support to $800. Here's the kicker. Mom interfered with Dad's parenting time. Dad would have exercised those 80 days, but Mom interfered with that time, wouldn't let Dad have the kids. So Dad wanted the kids, would have exercised that time, but for the fact that Mom interfered. The court said it doesn't matter. We're looking at the actual number of days that each parent had the kids, and we're trying to allocate the cost of raising those kids between the two parents based on the actual number of days, not what was court ordered. So even though Mom interfered with Dad's parenting time, it seems like Dad still got penalized for exercising fewer than 80 days, even though it wasn't his fault. It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
So, want to talk about the video? 8 reasons I suggested for men not to marry a single mother. Now, guys, realize that this was a 1-minute clip that I did. And there wasn't a lot of detail, there wasn't a lot of context involved with that video because it's 1 minute. It was a 1-minute short. However, it has blown up. As of today, I think it's 159,000 views. Don't hold me to that, but it's probably more. Point I'm trying to make is it triggered a lot of people. And of course, the people that it triggered the most were single mothers. Now, here's the thing. I'm not advising men to not get involved with single mothers at all. I'm advising men to realize that there are greater dangers to being involved with a single mother versus or having a partner. It's much easier on a relationship which usually have less than 50% chance of surviving even without kids. With kids and with someone else's kids, those chances of your relationship surviving drops even lower. That's all I'm saying. If you had a choice between the two. So before we go any further, listen guys, please hit that like button. Let's get into this. And I'm making light of it, but I'm dead serious. Marriage and divorce, and the people who lose the most in these marriages are men. It's the man. Listen to this divorce lawyer. Listen to what she has to say. It's not a joke.
Because it's my personal belief that the laws are neutral. They're gender neutral. But men do not get treated fairly when it comes to alimony in the court system. Judges are biased against them. They are. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth. In the last 40 years, I have had 4 cases that I remember of men getting alimony that I had to twist their arms in order to get alimony for them. Why don't men get alimony?
Yeah, but listen, there. You see what I'm talking about? Men lose. Alimony do not go to men. That basically means that if you get married to a woman and she wants to take your assets, she will win. Gentlemen, understand one simple thing. When you get married, you are not only marrying the woman, you are marrying the state. The state. And this is where a lot of men do not understand. They get caught up in, oh, the beautiful things, you know. Oh, this panani is good. Oh, this is... Oh, you're marrying a woman and you're marrying the state. A female and the state. Think about it. I'm not saying don't get married. I'm married. I've been married for 18 years. But what a lot of you don't know, I've been through 2 divorces already. Thankfully, they were smooth. But I have experience with 2 before. Never married a single mother, but I can tell you, I am old enough to have friends over the years, men who have worked their butts off to get ahead in life, went through divorces, and have also married single mothers, and that have went through nightmares. So I am talking from experience. This is over half a century of existence. Add to that, my mother also was married twice. My father married my mother, who came to the relationship with 3 kids. But you know the difference? And this is what I'm saying to gentlemen. My mother gave my father complete permission to be the father. That's the big difference. Today's modern women do not want to do that. Their idea of committing to a man does not involve the man taking control. This is where the problem comes in. So what women are asking these days is, yes, I left my marriage. Yes, I had kids out of wedlock. Yep, so what? Accept me for who I am. I'm still hot. Your sexual marketplace value drops significantly once you have kids, ladies. Kids do not give you value as a female looking for a relationship.
Honestly, I would definitely say to women like that, with that type of mentality, is you need to make sure you are really working on yourself to make sure you are an asset to the man that you're going to, attach yourself to, especially if he doesn't have children. Because, believe it or not, men look at you having a child as like a negative. Like I said, it's a big deal. But you have to show why you are, better than the rest. Why should you be picked over a woman who don't have, children?
And listen, it's a hard subject to deal with. It is. It's an emotional subject. But all I can tell you is, this is the realities of life. Why would I advise a man to get involved with something that would bring him extra hardship when there are other options? For what? For the P? Really? Every other woman has that. Ladies, marry before you carry and stay in the relationship regardless. But women want this idea of complete control over their life. They want complete control over their activity. I can tell you one thing. Marriage is a union where both of you are a brand. And ladies, if you want to go out and destroy your brand that the man has created, you got another thing coming. The man has to protect that brand. I'm putting it like this so that it can sink in. Your family is a brand. Your name, the name that he gave you, is a brand. And most men want to preserve that. That's important. Men want to provide a legacy. Men want a great legacy that he can pass on. So I want to read some of these comments that I'm getting, because it's really frustrating to listen to women try to defend a position at which they have absolutely no leg to stand on, because they're the ones that are at an advantage if a man comes in to be the rescuer, because that's technically what he is. Please tell me, what asset is a single mother to a man who have no kids? Please tell me, give me one. What asset are you that a single woman with no kids cannot provide? Please tell me. Just give me one. The answer is none. You have no advantage over a single woman with no kids. None. All you're going to do is bring a tremendous amount of heartache to any man who actually takes on that burden. And so I'm going to just read a few of these comments, because I know a lot of you ladies have not even taken the time to read some of the comments to see how men actually feel. Okay? Exotic Bird says, you are 100% right on this. I'm 59 years old. I married a woman with 4 kids when I was 38. They were all grown up and out of the house, except a 15-year-old teenager. We got divorced 4.5 years later. Everything you said is true and correct. I wish this kind of content was around 21 years ago. I would never have made this mistake. All you younger men who read these comments, listen to what this man have to say. Exotic Bird, I hope you recover, brother. Let's read some more, because it's not all bad. Here's a positive story. When my dad married my mother, she had 1 child from a previous marriage, and he had 5 children from a previous marriage. And this is what I would encourage. I would encourage, if other men had kids, find another single mother. It's not easy blending 2 families, because I've seen the dangers of that as well, including the whole incest thing. You're not my you're not my brother, you're not my sister. But that's a whole other story. So I've seen issues with that. But let's continue. I was the only child between the 2 of them. It was a strong family where he treated her sons as his own, as she did with his children. She took care of him until the day he passed, and I took care of her until the day she passed. And we are still a strong family. So it's all in your maturity level and how you handle situations. Why tell others not to marry a woman who has children based on your own negative experience and outlook? Marry who you want to marry. This is from Jay. Jay, congratulations for actually being in a great relationship with your dad. And listen to me. Women of the past are not like women today. You got to understand that things are a lot different. Women are operating in a totally different freaking reality. Women in the past understood that when they screwed up, or when a man left, or when a man died, another man came in to take care of her. She felt like she was blessed to actually have another opportunity, have a second chance, because that's technically what it is. All it takes for this to work in today's modern world is for women to say, hey, this man is here to give me a second chance. I'm going to have full respect and give him the ability to be the father. That's it. It would solve all the problems, because men have stepped up since the beginning of time to take care of other man's kids. It's nothing unusual. More men died in wars. More men died when they went hunting. More men died at work. More men died earlier in life. So it was very, very common for other men to step in and marry and take care of another man's child. How many movies you see where men, the last breath, he's saying, please take my wife. Just before he dies, take my wife, look out for my son, look out for my daughter. This was common. It was just part of life. But in today's day and age, where women are ungrateful, women are entitled, and the worst part of it, when you get married today, you're no longer getting married just to the woman, you're getting married to the state. That's the horrible part. So even if there's an amicable, clean break between you and the wife, or you and your spouse, when you want a divorce, the state still has to take his piece. That's in alimony and in child support. These two things, men have to keep paying.
Paternity was established in the father to the little girl when the little girl was about 2 years old. He was ordered to pay child support at that time, $450 a month, and he paid it every month. It came out of his check. He worked for Walmart. There was a wage assignment. They docked his check, $450 each month, sent it into the state. State sent it to mom. Well, the problem is he never saw his daughter, never spent any time with her, never established a relationship of any kind. Well, mom had remarried, and mom's new husband, the stepfather, wanted to adopt the little girl, and dad was in agreement. He said, yeah, I hadn't had much to do with her. Go ahead, I'll consent to the adoption as long as my child support stopped. That's the law. Once you have your rights terminated as a parent, you no longer owe child support. The adoption went through. Child support kept coming out, though. He called the state, he called the state attorney, he called the child support office. He did everything he could to stop that child support. It took a year before that child support ever stopped. He paid over $5,000 that he shouldn't have had to pay. How's he going to get that money back? Well, in order to get the money back, he's going to have to sue mom in civil court to get a judgment against mom for that money, and then he's got to collect it. Just doesn't seem right, does it?
There is absolutely no glory in divorce. None at all. All I'm saying is that men pay the biggest price. Men pay the lion's share of the money and the emotional price as well. Because when the divorce or when the split occurs, any emotional attachment to that child, that poor man is not only losing one relationship, he's losing 2 or 3, how many other kids the woman had before him. Because we're all humans. If the man is going to actually take care of a child, there is an emotional attachment that has to occur to make him feel that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Understand it from a man's perspective. You ladies get so caught up in your emotional cobweb that you don't understand the ramifications for the man. You don't appreciate what the man has to sacrifice. That's it. I don't want to drag this out. So this video was just to simply get you ladies to understand that the stepfather has no rights to the stepchild. That means if the mother leaves or the relationship fails, he has to break up with 2 or 3. Depending on how many kids she has, he has to break up with that amount of kids and her, and that is a serious emotional blow for him. Imagine investing your time, the energy, and your money into not only a woman, but her kids for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, for it to come to an end. And then she can say, you don't get to see these kids because they're not your kids. There's no weekend visits. That's it. Imagine how devastating that would feel if that was you. You see, you got to have empathy for the man. You got to understand the position the man would be in. That's what you ladies fail to recognize, because all you're thinking about is you and your feelings. So before we go any further, listen guys, please hit that like button. I'm trying to hit you guys with some cold hard facts. Unfortunately, this subject is not pleasant. It's not pleasant at all. And what else can we do? Life isn't about kittens and roses and fairy tales. These are realities of life that you, my young friends, my young subscribers, have to understand exists. If you want to see how deep and dark the subject is, read some of the comments on that video of 8 reasons not to marry a single mother, and read some of those men's stories. It's not pleasant at all. Okay? So please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button so I can move my channel to the next level. It is growing. I love it. You guys are really supportive. Send me a message, ask me any questions. I will try my best to answer as best as I can. I've been getting a lot of requests from men who would like some private mentoring calls. So I'm working on that. I got to find the time, because a lot of my viewers are actually in the US. I think over 60% of my viewers are in America. And there's a 9-hour time difference between both of us. So that is something I would have to work out. Click here, click right here if you guys want to watch the video on disciplining the child. It's very important for you guys to understand. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for the support. And of course, whenever in doubt, ask an older man. So I'll see you guys in the next video.